inside you. So how do you get the nutrients inside you? Humans have certain nutrients. It's not just you eat what you want and you're healthy. You have to eat the nutrients that humans need. And so the first thing that blew my mind and shocked me and made me want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I kind of feel it is a conspiracy. But the first thing is that biologically, all of the nutrition we need as humans is in animal protein and animal fat. Plants do not contain all of the nutrition we need. And everybody knows that because it's a biological fact. So even people who are vegan advocates will say you need a carefully designed vegan diet, meaning you have to supplement it because no human tribe anywhere in existence or no peoples in humanity, ancient tribes, have ever lived on a plant-based diet because it just wasn't possible because you're missing B12 and many other nutrients that we need to survive and thrive. Um, so so that was the first thing I noticed. We don't need carbs to eat, which I just couldn't comprehend it at first. We only need protein and fat. The second thing that I was floored by is that all carbs are sugar. Fruits, vegetables, all healthy carbs, bread, pasta, everything, even if it doesn't taste sweet, all carbs are sugar. And as a side to that, humans can only tolerate between 4 to 6 grams of sugar in their bloodstream at any one time. So that kind of gives you a hint as what we're supposed to eat. And the third thing that made me convinced that I was on the right path, because remember, I'd had this advanced cancer diagnosis, and that is that cancer loves sugar. And it's not just a made up saying, because when you go to the hospital for a PET scan, what they do is they inject you, they call it a liquid tracer because they don't want people to realize. But if you look, it's actually radioactive glucose, aka radioactive sugar. And the reason they use sugar, you're probably ahead of me here, is that the cancer cells uptake the sugar at 4 to 9 times the speed of any other cell in the body. And so your cancer cells light up like a Christmas tree because they're eating all the sugar. So those three things convinced me I'm on the right track. And anybody who came around me talking about vegan for cancer, I knew it's not the truth because all of them fruit juices, green juices, I realized that my previous diet that I thought was healthy was just sugar on sugar. Oats is sugar, fruit is sugar, honey is sugar. That was my breakfast. The lunch was chickpeas is sugar, spinach is sugar, all of the vegetables, it's sugar and fiber, which we don't need. So I knew that my body possibly was malnourished, almost certainly was insulin resistant, because even though I was at an advanced stage of disease, my blood sugar hadn't yet tipped into the type 2 diabetic range, which would have given me a clue earlier that something was wrong. But I think many of us are like this. Our insulin is so high, and insulin is a growth factor. It grows things like 80% of women by the time they're in their 50s of all races will get fibroids. I don't think that is normal or that we should just ignore it. I had fibroids since 2018. And also insulin is a growth factor for cancer. Now, 1 in 2 people will get cancer in their lifetime. And again, because of these so-called healthy diets, we're keeping we're eating the carbs and our insulin is high all the time. And that's what's growing these unwanted growths in the body. So thanks, Nikki.
So what would you say to somebody who had stage 4 cancer and they'd say, I think that's absolutely crazy. What would you say to them to help them
Well, do
feel
you
more?
know, I agree with you. It is absolutely crazy that we have been advised since the 1970s to eat most of our calories from carbohydrates. We've been advised on the plate to have 75% of that plate is carbohydrates. So fruit and veg are carbohydrates. Then they say put the healthy starch on there. That's carbohydrates. Then they've said not only keep your protein to the size of your fist, they say in the UK, um, and don't eat saturated fat. And yeah, you've got a bigger fist, so you would get more, Thomas. But they say keep your protein very low. Don't avoid red meat. Have the chicken that's hardly got any fat in it. So basically, they are taking away all your nutrition and telling you to eat most of your food from the stuff that doesn't have any nutrition. And to top it all, doctors are telling people left and right, don't eat red meat, don't eat red meat, when red meat is the most nutrient dense food there is. So I think that's what I would repeat the three facts that I said earlier, that all carbs are sugar. Sorry, the two macronutrients that we need, biologically proven. All carbohydrates are sugar, and cancer loves sugar, and PET scans prove it.
Are there any specific studies that you could point them to regarding those facts?
Well, the biology is just known. They can go to the Vegan Society website and find that on there it says do a well managed vegan diet, which means you have to supplement with B12. I don't know the individual names of all the studies, but this is just human biology 101, where the nutrients, the essential nutrients we need, there's two types. There's essential fatty acids, which are animal fats, and there's essential amino acids, which are animal protein. So it's just a known fact. It's not a sort of a research study, if you know what I mean. But unfortunately, it's covered up. So it should be a known fact that everybody knows this, but no, they don't, because if you go out there and try and talk about this, they'll start telling you about you need carbohydrates, you need fruit and veg. Fruit and veg is just a garnish. It's just for excitement, interest, and extra color on the plate. It's not nutrients. And on top of that, sorry, I've gone off on a tangent again. On top of that, it's got all the anti-nutrients in the fruit and veg that are causing people, especially anyone who's got autoimmune, they've got gut disease. If your skin is bad, you know that there's something going on with your gut. Um, for anyone like that, the carnivore diet is very healing on the gut. Our bodies are designed to digest meat. They're not designed to digest vegetables. And everybody kind of knows this intuitively, because if you eat beans or certain vegetables, you've got the bloating, you've got the gas. Everybody kind of knows it. But then we kind of forget it, and then we go out of our way to be eating 20 different vegetables. We're ruining our guts. And at the same time, we're not eating the food that heals us. So, for example, if you're a long term vegan and you are not giving your body the essential amino acids for years and decades, you're not giving your body the essential fatty acids for years and decades. What happens is your body, to stay alive, is taking the minerals out of your bones. It's eating your muscles, so you get very weak. And one of the strongest indicators of longevity is muscle strength, and especially leg muscle strength. So it's just criminal the way that doctors are, and our institutions, not the individual doctors themselves, but our institutions are telling people wrong and doing people bad and making people sick.
What would you say? How do you say it would being in this manner would affect mental health as opposed to vegetarian?
Yeah, Nikki. Well, I would love, but again, I'm talking a lot, so
That's
maybe
okay.
maybe it'd be great to hear from Thomas, the intro, and he could
Thomas,
answer the question maybe.
Thomas, why don't you tell us who you are, what happened, and why carnivore, and then we can talk about mental health. Game on.
Okay. So I mean, so I am type 2 diabetic. I know that you said that you're type 1 diabetic, so I know you can relate a little bit to what I'm talking about. And I also have neuropathy. And I started out when I was 30. It was the first time I was diagnosed with diabetes. I actually believe that I actually had insulin resistance a lot longer than that, because now we're finding out that you could actually have insulin resistance many years before you even find out that you're diabetic. So I think I always had a problem, but was never diagnosed because doctors would just say, "Why diagnose it?" You know. And and through, you know, in the beginning I was fine. You know, I did everything what I was being told. You know, you know, I was like, okay, control your carbs. You know, moderate your carbs. You know, like the words that kind of make us usually go crazy, if you know what I mean. And I did exactly that. I moderated, I controlled, and but what did that mean? You know, and yet on the same time, they would actually, like, if I went to the rehabs or went to the hospitals, you know, they would say, "Oh well, you know, here's some apple pie for you," you know, but it's sugar free. Yeah, again, what's sugar free apple pie at the hospital? You know darn well there's still sugar. It just has allulose or something like that in it, or saccharin. Actually, you know, allulose is a pretty new concept. So, you know, they would have saccharin or like sweetener, you know, like a sweet and low type thing. And, um, you know, and all these, you know, you go through all this for so many years, you know, go with the carbs, go with this. And what got me onto leaning into carnivore was, you know, I started off with like, you know, I actually watched a few videos, but the first video that I watched was from Sarah Hallberg, and she said in a TED talk that fats lower blood sugar and carbs raise blood sugar. So as soon as I saw that, I'm like, that actually makes sense. And then what made more sense to me was when I heard about keto, because at first I didn't hear about carnivore, you know, like I need to lower my carbs. You know, I need to get rid of these breads. I need to get rid of the stuff that, and as time went on, you know, I got stricter and stricter, you know, and when I saw Dr. Barry, which I used to watch him when he was keto, when I watched Dr. Barry and he all of a sudden he's like, yeah, I'm going to be doing carnivore. I thought he was crazy. I'm like, carnivore, all meat? I don't know if we can do all meat, you know, but later on I found out that we don't need the carbs in our system. So I found out the same thing, you know, like we do need essential fats and we do need essential, oh God, the proteins, you know, and amino acids, you know, we need that. And, you know, but technically, I mean, I was watching a video yesterday, actually. I forget who the guy was. It was on like Instagram or something like that, or Facebook. And he was saying that our bodies every day need, like, we use about 1 teaspoon of sugar that goes throughout our whole system, but all it is 1 teaspoon of sugar. And our bodies make that. So we don't actually have to consume it externally. It's just something our bodies automatically do it. Our liver automatically makes that sugar. And I'm thinking like, that's wow, you know, like you know, we've been like plagued with this information that we need all these carbs, that we need all this fiber in order to live. And I've been 9 months now, a little over 9 months now on the carnivore diet, and I haven't yet had any fiber, you know, and I haven't died. I'm still here. My functions are still going on. So, you know, like like what were you talking about, you know? But what brought me to it medically was I actually, even though I'm diabetic and I have, you know, the thing that really got me to get onto this was I actually went through an amputation. I had my 5 toes amputated from my right foot, and I had I'd say about 5% of my bone removed from my left heel. So, you know, I was in a wheelchair for quite a while. And then on top of that, I actually when I had my toes removed, the doctor left the wound open. So for about a year and a half, I keep it wrapped and stuff like that, but you're still going to get air in there and everything. So it wasn't actually closed or stitched. It was an open wound, you know. I mean, to sound a little I guess a little gross. It kind of reminded me of like raw hamburger meat. That's pretty much what my foot looked like. And so I go through all that stuff. So I think the infection kind of went through that, kind of went through the wound, as much as we tried to prevent. And knowing that makes me think that if that's true, then how lucky was I that I didn't get more than one infection? Like it was like that was the major, or I might have gotten more than one infection, but I pretty much kicked it because it was a lot. They were like little bitty infections, but this was a huge infection that caused me to be in the rehab for over 3 months. And like, and I was on and off carnivore at that time. But it's like it's like I said to you before. It's in an earlier thing. It's hard to do carnivore when you're in rehab or in the hospital. Like even if you tell them, and I had to kind of like strong arm my doctor at the end at the last time I was in rehab, but mostly it's very hard um, to do that. And so yeah, when I say going on and off, that's kind of what I mean by that. But also visiting family sometimes. When you're kind of like in the back. So I don't consider myself fully carnivore until I joined the group. Until I saw everybody. I'm seeing a lot of names on in the chats right now, so a lot of familiar names, which is pretty cool. So um, so I just basically, I went through all this stuff, and I went through some stuff that wasn't medical, that I had a hard time with. But then fast forward to now, or the 9 months when I first started, and when I did that, then I was watching Carrie Mann, I was watching Old Guy Carnivore, I started doing panels. I was on this is probably like my 15th, 16th interview. I've been on many, so I've told my story. It's I think what makes it hard is to kind of like tell it where it's not like elongated. But I I always get amazed, and like my goal now is to just go back to doing the interviews. I stopped because I had some computer issues. I'm getting computer issues solved, so I actually, and I think Stephanie knows, and I haven't actually set an appointment for you, Nikki, but anybody that wants to tell their story on my channel. So I'm trying to get everybody that I canceled that with back in, and just the least I can do is give my channel to a platform for everybody to tell their story, and that's how I'm contributing. And I'm also learning the coaching course right now. I'm learning a lot, but at the same time, as much as I'm learning, I kind of feel that I need more time to really learn fully. So I'm one of those people that need to really study things. I can't do it like weekly. So I'm just basically, like going to do my thing, get myself better, make myself worthy of being able to give advice, like literally. And but as I go on, I'll read the books better. I'll read it better than I already have, and really absorb the information I got.
Right.
Really articulate it,
Does
and
anybody in
just keep on going.
right? You're doing it.
Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Does anybody in the chat room? We've got Booby Goats. We've got Don Shonker. We've got Carnivore Muscle, the Feral Grandma. Hey, the Carnivore Muscle. That's supposed to be Carmack. How you doing? Welcome to the room. If you have any questions or if you want to come up on stage with us and chat with us, just let us know. Sharon, how you doing? Sharon M. Esterson. Nice to meet you live here. George Goodenough. Angela Mullins. Thank you so much for coming. This is my first time. It's been a long time. I've been on Yardstream years ago, but anyway, this is new for me. So I really appreciate the support. And if you want to be on the show, just let us know. I'd love to hear your
I
story.
just, I just wanted to say regarding Thomas's story, I've heard it before, and it's such an incredible story because is it 23 years you've been diabetic, Thomas?
And I
Sorry?
and I see the famous happy, sexy health.
Yes, of course.
So, so I think it's 23 years you've been diabetic, Thomas.
Yes. Well, I still am
Yes,
diabetic. I mean, yeah.
yes.
um,
So
yeah.
23 years, this is what gets my goat. 23 years you've been going to your doctor and they
Mhm.
never once mentioned it. Now, 9 months, you've reversed it back into pre diabetic.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that it will soon come down into not diabetic.
Right.
So, but in 23 years, they would rather, amputate your toes and all of the other things that have gone with it, not to mention the heartache, the disablement, the depression, and all the other things that we haven't even that you haven't even talked about at the moment. And so that's what I feel when people say, but you're not a doctor, what qualifies you to talk about this? It's that what you can share with them, Thomas, is going to save them from going down that road. So for anybody who's watching who has neuropathy, they start to feel numbness in their hands or in their feet. You would be a better stop for them than a doctor, um, because a doctor's only going to manage the issue. He's
Mhm.
not going to reverse it. He's going to tell you or she is that it's just going to get worse and worse. Whereas the mindset they might be in. You have been through that road. So you are absolutely worthy now. And even exactly today, with the information you've got and the blood sugar that you have right now, you're like gold dust to people because they need somebody who understands where they are in that journey, who can hold their hand along the way.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
No, I agree with that. I mean, I'll still like if somebody asks for my advice, I'm still going to give it. Don't get me wrong. I will still give my experiences to them. I just right now, I just don't I just don't feel ready. Um, until I do some more studying, until I get rid of the diabetes altogether. I just don't feel ready to actually say, hey, I want to do a coaching and I want to charge people. Like I don't think I'm ready to do charging people. But if anybody wants my advice or wants my opinion or wants my experience or my expertise in something, then I'll give it to you for free. I just don't want to do it lucratively. Is what I'm saying. So, you know, but so I'm seeing a lot of like new people coming on the chat. So I get excited when I see people, especially when I know them.
I,
It's always a nice thing to see. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't even be going through the training if I didn't like, I just I get people all the time that ask me like, "Oh, well, did you do this? Did you do that?" Like, "Well, I thought you needed carbs." Well, no. I mean, I've been 9 months without carbs, and do I look dead to you? No, you look fine. Okay, well, obviously you don't need the carbs, and it starts making them rethink, like, that's kind of weird, like you're not sick or anything. No, I mean, I'm get I'm slowly getting better from being very, very sick when I was eating carbs. I mean, a lot of people, they get discouraged because it's like, oh, well, I haven't lost this much weight, or I haven't done this, or I haven't done that. You got to realize something. You've done many, many years of damage to yourself, and it's going to take it's going to take little bit of a time. It might not take 20, 30 years to get back to where you need to go, but still, it's not going to take a few days. It's not going to take a few weeks. It could take over a year. It could take 2 years before you're fully 100% back to where you want to go. And I like Dr. Nelson's analogy where he says, like the aluminum foil thing, where you take the aluminum foil and you have like this nice piece flat thing of aluminum foil, nice and shiny, ironed out everything, and then you crumple it up. Well, if you even if you undo it, there's still going to be some damage that might not ever get helped, because you've done so much stuff to yourself. So you have to cut yourself some slack. You're not going to be 100% perfect. No one ever is, but I'm still better than I was, and I'm getting better every day. And I think we all are getting better every day,
Thomas and Stephanie, I'm just reading. So we've got a couple questions here, and would love for you to hear your opinion
So
here.
I'm not sure if.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Extremely Catty she says, how would a person that can't really eat or handle a lot of meat due to their own health issues benefit from this kind of lifestyle? So anybody in the chat room too, if you have any ideas, pop them in. We can read them out loud and discuss this together. Stephanie, do you want to go first? How would
Yeah.
you?
Well, you can also put the comment on the screen if you want, Nikki, by clicking on it, and it'll come up on the screen.
There we go. Thank you so much.
And then you click where it says hide comment to take it off again later on. But yeah, this is a great question. I'm glad this come up today because we call it 21-day primal body reset, and we call it primal eating. So basically it's like carnivore, but for some people who would have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, if they did not have any veg at all, then we allow a little bit of vegetables. So that's more like a ketovore. But so we actually have a man at the moment who is vegetarian or was vegetarian prior to starting this. But he's not well. He's got a very high blood pressure, and he's tried himself to start eating meat again many times, but he feels so sick. And in his mind, he's got that aversion to the meat, that he struggles. And he said that going vegetarian was the worst thing he ever did. And he's been vegetarian for many years now, but he's really starting to feel the effects of it. And he's put on a lot of weight that he wants to lose. And he's also, mentally, the fog and everything that we all experienced is there. But with him, what I said was, and this is the way that I would approach anyone who is choosing to go onto a more meat-based diet coming from a vegetable diet, is to honor your own mind. You don't try to go against it. So for him, what we talked about was what meats does he feel that there's actually a little bit of feedback on the line. So maybe we should all mute when we're not speaking. And then unmute when you're speaking, obviously. Yeah, that cleared it, actually. Oh, it's come back again. But yeah, that's great. That's great. So what's happened is when we get somebody who's either vegetarian, we haven't had anyone vegan yet who's been on our reset, they've got an aversion to certain meats. Like it would be hard for them to start with a steak. Maybe they're going to find it difficult to eat a lot of fat to start off with. So I asked them to tune into what meats feel okay for you. A lot of people say bacon because that's not so meaty in texture. It's got a really nice flavor. So he started off with bacon, and obviously he's got eggs and cheese, which he can lean on. And so he does bacon, he does sausages, and we persuaded him to try red meat because obviously it's the most nutrient dense. And he does it how we showed him. So instead of having minced beef, a lot of people don't like the texture of minced beef if it doesn't have a sauce on it, which is how mainly we eat it normally on standard American. But what we do is we have it in a big block, press it down a little bit, put a bit of salt and pepper on. So you get this big block of mince. So it's actually a bit like a steak. But it's much easier to chew. It's much easier to digest. The texture feels okay for people when they're coming from vegetarian. So I spoke to him today to get an update. He's loving it. He has had some digestive issues, but he's very excited because he's lost 6 kilograms and he couldn't lose weight previous. But obviously, as soon as we reduce those carbs, is the weight's coming off. He's feeling much better mentally. His mind is clearing. He's still got a little bit of digestive issues, but he really wants to keep going. So he's now building up the amount of red meat that he's eating. He's not that keen on the minced beef. So what I've said to him is use the bacon with the minced beef, for example. And you like cheese, put cheese on the minced beef, melt it on there. That's another way to sort of make it more palatable at the beginning while you're getting used to it. But I think, so in short, what I would do if somebody wasn't used to eating meat and they were vegetarian is say, ease into it. Start with the meats that you like best and the textures you like best. And he has kept some vegetables. So for him, he was keeping half an avocado on each meal. And so this week, that was only on week 1. So week 2, which we're just starting, he's now going to reduce it. If he has avocado, it's going to be quarter of avocado or less. And I also gave him, he can have olives or gherkins. And it's only 1 vegetable per meal because that helps to keep the portions down. So apologies, it was rather a long answer, but that's what I would suggest.
Okay. And if there's any other questions, I know we've got another question here. Okay. Extremely Caddy has another question I got here. Extremely Caddy says, on the same vein of things, what would be a reasonable way to pursue this lifestyle if someone has objections to some portions of the meat industry's practices, say beef?
What do you think, Thomas? Sorry, you'll have to unmute.
Sorry about that. Okay, so sorry about that. I just need to read the question again. Would be a reasonable way to pursue this lifestyle? I mean, if you have the objection to beef, I mean, carnivore is not necessarily. It doesn't mean that you have to eat beef. It doesn't mean you have to eat red meat. So if you want to do the carnivore lifestyle, but you just have an objection to eating red meat, well, you could start off, but I wouldn't eat like lean chicken. Like you could start with like chicken, pork, fish, sauce, like you said before, the bacon and sausage, for that one gentleman. The only thing is though, is you got to realize that just like Dr. Kilt says, it's not really carnivore, it's more fativore. So you still got to increase that fat. You still got to figure out ways to increase the fat. So the answer is not lean chicken breasts, that taste like hockey pucks if they're overcooked just by a little bit. You want to do like I do chicken thighs or chicken quarters. Is my favorite because they're nice and juicy. They have loads of fat in them. Do them with the skin. Like really dive in. If you do pork, like really get that skin, get that, get all that fat, eat all of it. But I'd also suggest too, if it's just an aversion to beef, incorporate it, like slowly bring it in, because you will want to do the red meat eventually, but it doesn't mean you have to start off doing red meat. And it's like it's like Bart Case says, if you have to do vegetables, as long as you have 70% of your meal, of your carnivore diet is 70%, animal product, you're actually good. The other 30% is whatever. I do a lot less than 30% of my diet. The only thing I've incorporated back in again is pickles, and I only do that. Like I do like one pickle like every other day, and that's all I have, you know. But once that's gone, I probably will stop. I just did it kind of for a fermented vegetable, you know, because I was watching oh God, what's his name? Dr. O'Mara, about how we need fermented vegetables or fermented foods along with our meat. So I just wanted to see if that would help my stomach issues and stuff like that. Um, you know, because we still go through journeys and we still have to kind of keep on going back and forth. We still experiment. I think all of us do. Like just the fact that we're on carnivore or just in life, I think we all do N=1 experiments on ourselves. And so sometimes those experiments fail and you have to do another experiment in order to see if that would work, you know? And that's sort of what I'm going through right now. But, you know, and just, but that's what I would actually say to that. I would actually just, you don't have to do beef. There's no law that says you're not a carnivore if you don't do beef. It's not called beefivore, it's called carnivore. And just as long as you add the fats, you should be fine.
Okay, so let's see if we have any questions. If anybody wants to come up on stage, we'd love to have you or book you for a show. Let us know. I'm just going through. Josephine says, "Howdy, Papa Carnivore." Papa Carnivore says, "Oh boy, it's another crazy quack." Okay. Hi, Josephine and Charger Mopar. Yes, Papa Carnivore. Carnivore says, "I've got a whole rack of pork ribs in the oven cooking for dinner." He said he can't wait. Happy second health.
And if you're going to have chicken, I would suggest having
Duck. What's your experience with duck? Do you guys like duck? I love duck. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I love that.
I
I
like
don't
it.
eat it that often because
No,
you
no,
know,
no.
Oh, it's yummy.
yeah, I like duck.
Rick's eating the whole market of duck global. Rick's having it all. Rick's in the comments.
Okay, so
Rick has his like parking lot chicken, his dumpster chicken, his duck, his iguana.
Now, we were talking earlier on the other live about the price of beef and how it's gone so high. Papa Carnivore gets his pork so cheap. But I was saying, well, I love the minced beef, and the minced beef is still really affordable in the UK. And what's it like in America, the ground beef,
Yeah.
the price wise?
I'm in Canada, so I was waiting.
Oh, right.
But it's
and that being said, itself on beef only because. Oh, okay. But you know, like with beef price, like you said, Stephanie, with beef prices going up and everything like that, there's another reason why you want to definitely make sure that you're having the other meats, because you can only eat so much with the pricing and everything like that, you know. And we got to kind of like, you know, if they you know, we have to look for the loopholes and everything that big business and all that big food.
But do you find
throws at us, or the government throws at us, you know, like, you know, if we can't afford beef, then we have to get chicken, you know. If we can't afford pork, then, you know, like we have to eat fit, you know, like we have to figure out what can we do to stay carnivore and not let them dictate what we do, you know. And I hate to sound political, but that's true, you know.
Wow, Kat Herman, she's coming on the Sunday School Carnival next week, and she's just said in the comments, we just bought our first cows, and they're trying to get a small herd going. So that is phenomenal. I would love that. Time to eat the rich.
And she's actually going to be on my channel on the 9th. And Kat's going to be on my channel on the 9th, actually. So
oh, right, it's only 2 days away.
Of our channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you're getting her first. And this is my, oh dear. This is my, you know, when I said I do the minced beef and it's still pink in the middle.
Really?
It's just, I know, it tastes really good. Minced beef and eggs. And Rick said that minced beef in the States is about $5 a pound, and it's a similar price here. And I have half half a pound, yeah, in the meal and 2 eggs, and it tastes so good, and it's so cheap. You were asking. Go on, go on.
Would you find that it's much cheaper than eating the sad diet?
Oh yes, oh
Much
yes,
like how
yeah,
often are you throwing away a steak?
never.
Because but how many times did you
In the
throw
long
away
run, yeah,
vegetables?
definitely.
How many times as a vegetarian? I was a vegetarian and a vegan at one point, tried fruitarianism too. How many
Wow.
times did you? I did. I tried it all. No wonder I got diabetes. But anyway, uh, yeah. How many times did you throw out your vegetables?
Yeah.
You didn't eat them. You just naturally didn't eat them.
Yeah. And all the snacks, because you're always hungry, so you'll be snacking. Then all the self-hate, or because you think, why can't I do this? Everybody else can do this. I said I wasn't going to eat whatever it was, and now I've eaten 2 packets of it. Accidentally found myself at the shop, left my sofa in the night, and you don't have that anymore. Now we can sort of you feel like proud of yourself. It's such a different world.
Hmm. And more calm. Do you find you're more calm? I'm more calm. A little bit more zen now that I'm carnivore. I do ketovore as well.
The carnivore calm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I am. It's hyper. You
Yeah.
pay 8 cents a pound for chicken at Fresco. Let's see. Meathead. Meathead says, I buy brisket less than $5 a pound and grind my own burgers. Right on.
Ooh.
That would be interesting.
Meathead's on it.
It's on it.
That is good.
Do you have pounds? What? It's over
The
there.
Ibis.
Okay, there we go.
I
So
IBIS over there, right?
I don't know what that is. Um, well, if you were inviting people on, Nikki,
mhm,
you were inviting people to join us on the screen.
right.
Well, at the bottom of the screen, there's an invite people
Maybe you have no
button,
link to get on.
and that gives you the link. And if you put that link in the chat, people will be able to see it.
Oh, copy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I
then people can join.
paste. Oh, okay. That's how you do it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, it's in the chat. So if anybody does want to join, they can now.
There you go.
So we've
Yeah.
got
So
about
that's
15 minutes left of the show. We've been on for almost an hour now. And so if anybody wants to come up on stage and if you have any questions for Stephanie, myself as a type 1 diabetic, or Thomas as a type 2, then come on up. We'd love
well,
to.
Nikki, why don't you tell us your story of finding Carnivore while we're waiting if anybody comes up?
Yeah.
Sure. It's an interesting story. I was actually originally diagnosed as type 2. So 2 years. I just celebrated my just over 2 years of being diabetic. So the first, uh, I was saying 6 months, but it was 5. The first 5 months, I was in denial, serious denial. I found
Yeah.
carnivore right away and decided, even though they wanted me to be on insulin as a type 2, I
Yeah.
said no because I heard all these stories about people curing themselves from diabetes from
Yeah.
carnivore. And so I decided not to take my insulin. And in that process, I lost about 40 pounds, maybe 45, but my insulin
Wow.
was like 84 pounds. So they said that I had an eating disorder. When I went into the hospital and I refused to eat in one of my times when I was actually in the hospital, I refused to eat their vegetables and stuff, and most of the stuff they were giving to me because I thought it was poison. Um, but I needed my insulin. So once I started taking my insulin, the last time that I was hospitalized, I started to gain weight. Yeah. So now here I am, about 130 pounds now. Not
Wow. You've lost 130 pounds.
Oh, I was 84 pounds, and I've gained that much.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm barely 5'2", and
Oh,
maybe
because of
barely.
being
So
because
I turned in. Oh, I forgot to say, I turned in type 1. So the first time I was hospitalized after 5 months of not taking my insulin as a type 2, they they began. I said yes to taking the insulin because I was so weak. I could barely move. And I said yes. Oh, Kat has added herself to the stage here. Come on, Kat's come in. Hi, Kat. Hi.
hello.
Yeah. So I started taking the insulin, and here I am. So insulin made me grow my boobs, my hips, and my bum back. So thanks, insulin.
Lovely.
Yeah. Kat, how are you? Nice.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm great. I've just been outside working. I'm a little sweaty, but it's nice to be here.
Yeah, you're a farm girl. I've seen some of your videos, and you own some cows. Tell us about your cows. I heard something about some cows.
Well, so we bought two mama cows that are supposed to have babies in the spring, and then there's a lady from out of state that's supposed to be delivering a third mama cow today, and we're really excited about that. So this is all new to us. We're just kind of figuring it out as we go.
And so how many? What other animals do you have on the farm? I heard that you have other.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, we have a horse and we have about 31 chickens and three dogs, and that's it so far.
Well, and I see you're on a walking pad. I'm gonna get one of those soon.
Yes, I love it. I actually love it. I walk during our classes. They probably Thomas and Stephanie probably see me walking during our classes. It's great though. It's a good way to get in some extra steps. And anytime I'm working on the computer, I usually try to walk too. So
Yeah, it's good. I've seen you in class. I've seen you walking.
yeah.
um,
Oh, you've probably seen me too then.
yes, I have. So tell us, please, how did you find carnivore, and what is your why? What happened?
Okay. Well, I was actually kind of on a clean ketogenic diet before carnivore. I have polycystic kidney disease. So I found that way of eating in order to try to help slow down the damage from the cysts that are all over my kidneys. But which I did find that the kidney disease seemed to slow down with that diet. It helped a lot. Honestly, I just jumped over into carnivore because I really had an addiction to sweets. So when I was on keto, I would make tons of keto treats all the time, which seemed to be okay. But I kind of wanted to break free from the food noise, and so I decided to do 30 days of carnivore, and I'm still on it. My husband joined with me, and that was January 1st. So we haven't stopped since. But it's
Nice to
been
have.
great. I mean, my energy levels are better, my skin's better. I just love this way of eating. I love meat too, so that works out. But I feel better. Yeah, it's been great.
So what does the rest of your family and friends think of your new adventure?
I'd say most of them are pretty supportive just because when my kidney function started decreasing before, of course, it was really concerning. You know, if your kidneys keep getting worse every year, it was looking not so great. And I told them I was trying the keto in order to help my kidney function. So they were supportive about that. I do think it probably catches some of them off guard. I mean, just eating a large volume of meat and none of the what they think is, healthy vegetables and fruits and grains. I think it's hard for them to wrap their head around that for sure. And our kids have kind of hopped on board with it for the most part. When my son was born, he's 4 now, he was very sensitive to sugar. And in fact, he would get rashes just from eating fruit. And that that kind of helped propel our whole family towards reducing sugar and carbohydrate intake as a whole. Because I didn't eat it anyway, but my husband and daughter did. And it's really hard when the little one wants some of that cake you're eating, and if he eats it, he's going to have a rash. So it was just kind of all as a whole, we're just going to set that aside. So that I'd have to say that really helped us out. And so yeah, my kids are mostly animal based. They do eat a little bit off here and there, especially when they're with their grandparents. Um, but for the most part, they eat mostly animal based, I'd say.
So do you think this will just help them propel them to continue this way as they grow older because they're not
Gosh,
getting the addiction now?
oh gosh, I hope so. I mean, of course, there's still a lot of research to be done and things to be figured out, but there are some things that indicate that potentially with the PKD mutation, you have the mutation, and then perhaps it's your lifestyle, your diet, your environment that causes the cyst to actually form. And there's a chance that let's say, standard American diet could have helped lead to me having so many cysts. So if I did pass that down to my kids, or if they did have a random mutation, because neither of my parents have it, um, if they would eat this way, there's a chance they would never develop the cysts. So while it's a hard sell when all their friends want to eat, donuts and Pop Tarts and chips all the time, it really is for their good if they can try to clean that up a little and maybe not expose themselves to quite as much inflammation as what the normal diet would expose them to.
Mhm. So when if we look back to when you first discovered that something was going a, array with your body, what was happening? How did you know that something was changing?
Well, it kind of came on slowly, really. In my 20s, my blood pressure kept going up, and they thought that was really odd because then I was very active, very trim, healthy looking. So my doctor decided to do an ultrasound because he thought perhaps I had some narrowing of the blood supply to my kidneys, and he wanted to to check on that. And when they did, they found all the cysts everywhere. So he just referred me to a nephrologist, and she was kind of thinking maybe it's that, maybe it's not. We don't know for sure because it doesn't run in my family. So she just kind of said, let's watch and wait and see how things go. Because at that point, my kidney function was just normal, and the size of my kidneys were fairly normal. But as we started tracking it year after year, they kept growing on the ultrasound. My kidneys would get a little bigger each year. And then at some point, my function started dropping, and it would
Hmm.
drop a little more. And then after I had my son, I took a pretty good drop. Um, for me, it was down to about 51% on my EGFR, my estimated filtration rate. So, but after 3.5 years of keto, and then, well, now I'm at, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, I think, of carnivore. When I had my last lab work, I was up to, I don't offhand, I think it was in the 80s. My GFR was up in the 80s now. So I've actually had a positive. My kidney function has gained in a positive way since
Hmm.
then.
Okay, and so what
But
is it? It's 80, what is it supposed to be? What is it?
well, they say above 60 is normal.
Okay.
So I'm well above normal at this point. But and it's funny when I talk to my nephrologist about it because they typically just expect you to decline over time with this disease. There's no like getting better. And so every time I go in, she's like, huh, look at that. I mean, she just kind of either dismisses it or is slightly perplexed by it. And the last time I had an ultrasound, she kept flipping back and comparing the sizes of my kidneys, and one of them measured smaller, and she said, "Huh." And I said, "Oh, does that mean it's getting better?" And she said, "It's probably a measurement error." And I was
Mm.
like, "Okay." I mean, it very well could be. There's some error in that, but um, so yeah, it's definitely not expected for me to get better. It's expected for me to continue and progress to the worse side. But
Yeah.
Well, I thank you so much for coming on, Kat. What a nice surprise. And yeah, that's wonderful. I'm so happy for everybody who came into the room today. It means so much to me, and I really hope that you are enjoying your carnivorous lifestyle, ketovore, carnivore, or maybe you're not there yet, but at least you can. This is one of the spots that you can come to, to check it out and learn. Right? This is the Nikki's Club Carnivore is created for people like us who want to educate and share inspiring stories. So kudos to you. Give yourself a round of applause. And Stephanie, I haven't asked you yet, but is there anything, often when we go into, uh, we do giveaways. I'm wondering if anybody has a giveaway today. Um, and if Stephanie, will start with you first. If you have a giveaway or something you'd like to, I know I kind of sprung this on you, but just go for it. If you don't want to, that's fine.
Well, do you want to
I
go first?
do. I want to go first.
Yeah.
Yes. I do. I. Yes. Sure. I'd like to give away a free laughter session. So if you want to uh, email me at info@laughtercore.ai, you'll have a free 1 hour session with me. Um, and Kat, do you have?
yes,
Yeah. Would you want to give away a coaching session or something like that? You're a budding coach here. Part.
I don't have a ton of experience, but sure, I would love to give away a free coaching session.
That's wonderful. Awesome. Awesome. Thomas, how about you? We've all got experience. We've all got a story, and you got here. You got here learning, and you've learned a lot. So, as yeah,
I mean,
if
that's
you, if
basically all I could give away is my advice. So, yeah,
all right,
I guess if anybody wants to be mentored by me, that's fine. I'd be willing to do that.
okay, awesome. So if you want to, uh, get a hold of Stephanie. So if you're all, where can they reach you, Stephanie?
So yeah, I'll give a free coaching session as well. I
Okay,
wasn't sure what what to give.
I,
Um, but yeah, so thanks, Nikki, for showing me the way of what was what was needed. So I'm Stephanie Taylor at Happy Sexy Health. So I just put a note in the chat. So please subscribe, obviously, to Nikki's channel, which is very new, and my channel, and also Thomas's channel, Prime Spare Rib. Is that Target Spare
Target
Rib?
Prime Rib,
Oh, Target Prime Rib. I got
right?
there eventually. Target Prime
Yeah.
Rib. And Kat, do you have a channel?
I do. It's Kairos for Health.
Okay. Okay, great.
Yeah,
Well, you can explain a bit more because I didn't know you had a channel, but look
very
forward
small.
to. So mine's small as well. So mine's is Happy Sexy Health, and it's on YouTube, and it's on all the places. It's on Instagram at Happy Sexy Health. It's and you can. I'd love to connect personally as well. I'm on Facebook at Stephanie Taylor, and LinkedIn as Stephanie Taylor as well. So love to connect with any of you. And over to you, Thomas.
where can we reach you, Thomas? Where can we
Oh,
reach you?
yeah. I mean, you can find me
It's
on Target Prime Rib. Um, yeah, not Target Spare Rib, Sharon. Target Prime Rib.
that was
um, and yeah, I mean, like I do. I'm trying to go back to doing lives again. I'm doing two this week. I'm doing my first one. I'm doing with Kat Heron, and I'm also doing one on the 13th with Carnivore Edens, Coach Edens. So Julie. it. So I'm looking forward to that. And not much to say, you know. I mean, just kind of take everything day by day, and I look forward to seeing you guys. And as for the coaching thing, you know, I'm going to say mentoring because I don't feel like I'm not certified yet to be a coach. So until I am, then that's a different story. But I'll definitely, if anybody here feels that they want to be mentored or something like that in the car, you know, in the lifestyle I'm in, I'm here for you, you know. So
Wonderful. And Kat, I'm sorry, did we get your email? I,
I just put my channel in the chat.
okay,
And
and
my
so
channel is, or my email, I'm sorry, is kairosforhealth@gmail.com.
right, Kairos. And I want to give a special thank you to my assistant here. He's helping me, and yeah, so thank you very much. It was wonderful. So what else do I want to say? I think that's everything for today. I want to honor your time. We've been here for an hour, some of us a little bit longer. um, so as I say, if you want to get a hold of me, I'm at info@laughtercore.ai for a free session for how are we going to, yeah, how are we going to, yeah, that's what I would, how are we going to do that? Yeah, if you want a free session, just what do you think? I'm drawing a blank right now. How do we if you want a free
How
session,
are you
just
going to pick the winners?
the winner. Yeah, exactly. How do I pick the
Well,
winner?
you could ask people to comment session in the chat or free in the chat. Free is easier to spell. Um, and then you could just pick people, 4 people.
Pick 4 people. Okay.
If
That'll
if
work.
people comment free in the chat,
Okay. Yes. Thank you very much. Comment free in the comment, and we'll pick 4 people. That would be great. Thank you so much for. I was listening to some different ideas that come through here. Okay. So yeah, comment free if you'd like a free session, and we'll pick 4. So thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you so much for honoring yourself, and have a great carnivorous day from Canada. Bye.
bye,
Bye
bye,
Bye.
everyone.
bye, bye.
Bye. Now, how do I get out of here? Bye. Well,
So you just
how
press stop live. It should be
top right.
top right
Oh,
corner of your
okay.
screen.
Here we go. Thank you, everyone. Now,
just push
end stream. Yay.